What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I'm going to bring you my predictions for the quarterfinals of the 2018 FIFA Russia World Cup. We got on one hand Uruguay versus France and Brazil versus Belgium, which are amazing matches, and then we got on the other hand Russia versus Croatia and England versus Sweden. So we got one side which is like pretty epic, and the other one which obviously is gonna grant us an underdog to the final. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what are my opinions on this one. I encourage you, all of you guys, to leave me yours on the comment box down below, but just like always, be sure to drop us a like, leave us a subscribe, turn on the bell notification icon, and follow us on all other social media to keep up to date. So let's get now right into it. Okay, so starting off, we're going to have France versus Uruguay, and this has to be probably one of the most interesting matchups of these quarterfinals, not only because we're going to face two incredible teams in Uruguay and France, but also because they can be clear candidates if they manage to beat one another. And more importantly, these are two teams with different philosophies. We have a France team which are very good without the ball, they're very good counter-attacking, and they're also very, very decent when they turn things up. I mean, turn things up when you got Mbappe fired up, when you got Griezmann fired up. Giroud is such a key piece for France today, and they're a team which likes to play out wide and really likes to stretch out the field as much as possible. In the case of Uruguay, we got a team which are much more conservative in their attack. They're a little more defensive minded, and they praise their attack on having that defensive solidity at the back with people like Diego Dean and Jose Maria Jimenez. And moreover, they have amazing strikers like Cavani and Luis Suarez. Obviously, Cavani is injured for this one, and Christian Suan is going to come in most probably to replace him. Another thing that I've been reading is that perhaps El Maestro Tavares could incorporate another midfielder to try and deal with that France, which is really, really wide. But I think that really Christian Suan is going to be the best bet for Uruguay, because at this stage of the competition, you really don't want to change your system too much, and plus having Kistuani, which is a player obviously not of the same quality as Cavani, but a player that can certainly give you the same work rates and the same effort, because obviously anybody playing at this instance of this competition of the World Cup is gonna give them their 100%, don't you think? In the case of France, I think that the main thing that they need to do to try and win this match is trying to overrun the midfield of Uruguay. Uruguay has a midfield which is very, very young and necessarily has never been in an instance like this as important as this game. So I think that having people like Pogba, Matuidi, even Tolisso to a certain extent could come into this game and really take the midfield by the scruff of the neck. I mean, the main objective for France should try and pinpoint those midfielders and try to isolate them as much as possible, because when you have that going on to you, you want your midfielders, I'm talking here in the case of Uruguay, you need your midfielders to try and be relaxed and be enough to have enough confidence in themselves to try and get themselves back into the game, because obviously with people like Ante, which are gonna cut your attack as soon as he gets a chance to it, Pogba, which are very physical, Tolisso, a guy who never gets tired of running, you're certainly gonna be a little bit overwhelmed. And in that sense, I think that being young and inexperienced midfielder in Uruguay, that can really hurt them in the long run, and I think France may get a point there in the case of the midfield. I think that's the main place where France will try and get as many chances as they can, created for the midfield and really isolating the midfield from Uruguay, because Uruguay are a team that are very direct. They're a team which pass the defender onto the midfielder, onto the midfielder, onto the striker. They like to go on a straight line always. They don't really rely a lot on their wingers, on their fullbacks, not a lot as well. But if that were going to happen, I think that Uruguay would need to be very, very careful, because like I said, France just have extra things in midfield that, to be honest, you can just see the real difference between a Uruguay midfield and a France midfield. On the other hand, we have Uruguay, and I think that Uruguay, the main thing that they need to do to try and win this game is basically just try not to concede as many goals as possible. Uruguay are a team that, if they can beat France in one thing, is beating them in the long game. I think that Uruguay are a team that just have that garra. That's how we call it in South America. Garra, I mean that team that never really slows down, a team that always has that intensity, like Atletico Madrid or any of the other Cholo Simeone sides. You know what I mean? That just tooth to try and get into it. And I think that Uruguay are probably one of the best teams in doing that in the world. So I think that there is one thing that they are not gonna lose, and France are never gonna get a chance to compete with, is that tooth, is that hunger. And Uruguay, I think that can really take them to the long run, to the long game. I think that in the case of Uruguay, they're trying to push their entire the entire game plan to more than 90 minutes, I think that's where Uruguay can really hit them hard, because France are gonna be really getting a little bit desperate, because like I said, there are not too many leaders in that France side. Like I said in my previous videos, I think that's the main thing where France are really lacking. So in that, I think Uruguay can try and take that into their advantage. Use that to really stretch out the game and make France desperate and get their chances as they come. Moreover, I think that Uruguay are much better in set pieces than France, and this is something that we have seen constantly being repeated time and time again for the World Cup. For instance, Japan were much better on the ball than Belgium, but Belgium really, all of their goals were really from headers and really set pieces, except for that final counterattack. But we take a look also at Brazil versus Switzerland. Switzerland managed to score that goal because of a set piece. Sweden are where they are now because of their set pieces. England are where they are now because of their set pieces. So we take a look at how important set pieces have been in this World Cup, and that's a thing that is very hard to miss. And I think that if we take a look at the set pieces both from France and Uruguay, I think that Uruguay is much better at doing those than France. So it's going to be a battle of two different tactics, two different mentalities, and something that I'm really worried about is who's going to have the ball. Similar to Portugal and Uruguay, we didn't see a team having really the ball unless the first one scored. So I think that's going to be the main thing in this game. Whoever scores first is going to have a really big advantage for progressing to the next round. So between those two teams, who do I think is going to go through? I certainly think that France has a little bit more, but I have to push with my heart here, and I have to go with Uruguay. I really think that Uruguay has this, and please do not disappoint me, Charruas. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I see something in you. Uruguay, come on, you're going to get to the semifinals. Let's hope you do. So moving on, we're going to take a look at our next fixture, and that's going to be Brazil versus Belgium. This is one which is very 50-50, I think, to be honest with you, because we take a look at Brazil, and Brazil are a team which obviously have come from small to the next stage being really good, and obviously progressing on their form. And in the case of Belgium, we're a team which we don't really know what we're going to get. We can get an amazing Belgium that are going to score 5 goals past Tunisia, or then we're going to get a Belgium team which are almost going to lose against Japan. And that's the main thing about Belgium here, and I think that's the main part where we need to really be key at Belgium. It's depending on what's going to happen, which Belgium is going to turn up. I cannot stress enough how much Belgium need to fix their formation. I don't really like that 3 at the back formation. It's really quite weak, and especially when we take into consideration that they're going to play against Gabriel Jesus, Willian, and Neymar, or even Douglas Costa off the bench, and Coutinho. I think it's going to be very hard for Belgium to contain that attack, especially when we take into consideration that they only have, really, from all of their midfield players and defenders, they only have they only have like 4 defenders out of that, you know, because they don't have really a good CDM. Axel Witsel, it's not really that. Yannick Ferreira Carrasco is not a left wing back, so I think they need something else in defense. I really think they should go with a back 4 in this game, but I don't think Roberto Martinez is going to change that, and I think that's when they're going to really get hurt, especially when we take a look at someone like Willian and Douglas Costa could play on the right hand side. Yannick Ferreira Carrasco will have a field day if he needs to go back and defend William and Douglas Costa. You're going to exploit that so much, so they really need to be careful with that, especially when Yannick Ferreira go up their attacking lanes, and then someone like Douglas Costa just can come in behind and really take that advantage of passing it on to people like Gabriel Jesus or people like Paulinho, which, let's remember, Paulinho is something very good coming in from deep. So I think that's the main thing for Belgium. They need to shore up that defense, and right now they don't give me enough solidity, they don't give me enough arguments that they were able to do that. In the case of Brazil, we have a team which are much more prepared for this. They have people like Fernandinho, which are going to come in obviously for the suspended Casemiro. I think Fernandinho in this game is going to be much more crucial than someone like Casemiro. I think that someone like Fernandinho are going to be able to close the gaps easier, especially when we take a look at the attack of Belgium, which is also very fast in the case of Eden Hazard, Dries Mertens, and obviously Romelu Lukaku. The main thing for Brazil here is that if Brazil are going to be able to stop someone like Romelu Lukaku, I think that they will, because they have 2 very experienced center backs in Miranda and Thiago Silva, and if there's something they haven't done in their entire career, it's marking players. So I think that they will have more than enough to really contain Lukaku. I think Lukaku is going to find it a little bit more difficult, and especially taking into consideration that perhaps Marcelo may not even be coming into this match. Someone like Felipe Luis is much more defensive, and it's going to stay a little bit back and really hold Hazard up good. And on the other hand, we have Wagner or even Danilo, which I think they should start Danilo in this one, because Wagner, I think he's just a little bit too too inconsistent. Not inconsistent in playing good or bad, but too inconsistent whether when he wants to attack and when he wants to defend. I think Danilo is gonna be much of a player who's gonna stay in the right flank, and I think that in that sense Danilo could be a little bit better for Brazil in this one. So I think that between two sides and between what they're proposing and what arguments they have for this match, I really see Brazil taking this one. So I have to say that overall Belgium have a very good squad. I think that Brazil is really there here, and I think they're gonna progress to the semifinals. With one hand of the tournament now done, we can move onwards to the other hand of the tournament tree. And this one includes Russia versus Croatia first. Russia versus Croatia. Can you believe it? Like, oh my god, Russia versus Croatia. It's insane. I never thought I would be saying this on our quarterfinals, but well, we got Russia versus Croatia. So first of all, we got Russia, a team which are looking very, not lucky, but like destiny really has something with them. They want to take them all the way to the final. And you know what? Why not? I really think Russia can do it. You know what? I think they have good players: Golovin, Cherichev, Samedov, Sobnin, Mario Fernandez, the best right back in this competition by far. Mario Fernandez has been insane, and I think that Russia really, if they have something on their favor, is that they have really that home field advantage, like I said before. And I think that Croatia hasn't really shown enough for us that they will be able to beat Russia this easily. Against Denmark, I was really underwhelmed with Croatia. Some of you guys on my other previous videos were saying that Croatia are this very good team, and I agree. They're an amazing team. They are an amazing team. Croatia could be completely honest, could win this competition. They could get to the final. But the thing is that their performances not really back up their team. They're not really playing as good as they should have played, and in that sense it gets me really worried about which Croatia is gonna come into this game. Is Croatia gonna be the same in the group stages? We're gonna beat Argentina by 3-0, or gonna be the one who draw with Denmark and beat them on penalties, and like by 1 penalty. So it's gonna be really hard to decide. I think that Russia more obviously has that defense solidity at the back, and we saw how good they can be and stable in defense against like even a team like Spain. And I think that if Croatia and Spain share something, is that they both like to have the possession of the ball, and I think that's gonna suit Russia very good. I think that Croatia will need to try and look for something else, like from set pieces or from quick direct football, to try and really take advantage of Russia's really solid defense. I think they will need to start with Mandzukic and Kramaric up top, maybe with Rebic for the left, Perisic for the right, and even I could go as far as saying that perhaps Modric and Rakitic both in the midfield, and not having Kovacic or this guy or Brozovic, because they're gonna have the ball a lot, and Russia are not gonna have them. They're not gonna have them. So all the time Croatia will need to try and look for ways to try and hurt this Russian team. I think they will need to watch the Spain game very carefully and see what they can do that Spain didn't. And in that sense, I think Croatia has that chance because they now know what Russia are gonna play for. In the case of Russia, I think that obviously Russia are gonna be really solid at the back and gonna take their chances as they come, and I think this one can really go into penalties as well, and in penalties any 50-50 can happen. I want both teams to go through, to be honest. I would like to see the semi-final being Russia versus Croatia instead of a quarter-final, but unfortunately that can happen. And I really feel that Russia can do it. I don't know why, but why not? Russia to the final. Let's do this. I'm gonna get so destroyed. And now moving on to the final quarter-final matchup, we have Sweden versus England. We have an English team which managed to beat Colombia, one nation versus one man, and one man Jerry Mina meaning. And I gotta say that England, they're looking very solid. They're looking solid in the sense that they're not losing their cool, and they have the head on the game, and they are playing in a good system that really takes them far in this competition. But the same against Sweden. Sweden are a team which I'm really surprised because they always know how to scrape out results, and this is gonna be very tight. This one is gonna be very tight. Very similar to the game between Colombia and England, not in the sense that it's gonna be also very boring. Like, let's get right. It's gonna be very boring, I think. But I think it's gonna be a lot in here. It's gonna be a lot of the tactics and see which team can hold the longest. And in that sense, I really don't know. It's a 50-50 chance between England and Sweden. And I don't know who deserves more to go through, because both of them teams have not been playing really amazingly, but they're doing the job. So we have to give them credit where that's due. And I really do not see whether England or Sweden, who's going to go through. I really do not know. I really do not know. It's going to be very hard to decide on this one, but I'm inclining a little bit towards England. I think that the thing of like football is coming home and the stuff like that, that's really like a pressure off your chest, because you're making fun of it and you're not really taking into consideration that you're doing good in this competition. So if that's going on, I think that that's a really huge pressure off your shoulders. I think in the case of Sweden, that's where they can really be in a disadvantage, because England has no pressure at all. They've been doing really good thus far, and really they've just done the job, and they've not have a single bit of pressure, because nobody in England expects them to win. So that's how good that can work out, and I think that England will most probably go through. I feel sorry for Sweden, but let me tell you, this is a 50-50, like really 50-50. Like, if anything makes sense, I would say like 50.00000. Doesn't make any sense, but this is really 50-50, like really 50-50. But I think England will go through, and like I said, I think the semifinals will be Uruguay versus Brazil, and then England versus Russia. Can you imagine? Russia and Croatia are also 50-50, really 50-50. But one of my friends, he said that either the final is gonna be Russia versus Brazil, and Brazil versus England, and I agree. I really do see Russia or Brazil in the final, or Brazil England on the final. I want Croatia also to go through, but I'm like, I cannot choose all the teams. If it were my choice, I would like both Croatia and Russia in the semi-final, but unfortunately that can happen. So I'm gonna go with Russia and England. I think that England, there's a better chance I can get England, but in the case of Russia, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with my guts and I'm gonna say Russia. Oh my god, kill me in the comments down below. Let's say Russia gonna win this competition. Oh hell, mother Russia, for fuck's sake. USSR again.